Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizical, where we do everything card making. And today I am participating in Inky and Scrappy's Get Creeping on Halloween challenge, where at the end of every month we post Halloween cards. So it could be anywhere from like the 28th if it's February, the 30th, 31st, just whatever the last day of the month is. This month's the 31st. So today I am going to be doing a card using some Doodlebug pattern paper from, I think, the 2024 collection. I do have the 2022, I think, and 2024 here, and I'm just trying to decide what colors to use. I ended up going with the 2024 package, so I will try to link that if I can find it available somewhere. And I'm going to be using this pumpkin head die that I got from scrapbook.com. It was just super cute, and I added it into my order with the magic mats that I bought a while ago, the magnetic ones that I don't absolutely love. But if you've been here before, you've heard me complain about those a little bit anyway. But I'm going to be using like a candy type background and a Jess Crafts template number 9, I think, for 6x6 paper. And you're just going to be cutting out 2x3 inch rectangles, which I'll do in a bit. But I'm going to cut the images for the die itself first. This die, I think, again, it's super cute. I like some aspects of it. Some aspects I probably won't use. There are very tiny, tiny pieces in this die. And one good fact is I like that they included a layer for you to layer all the pieces on before adding it to the shadow layer, or you can just use it individually without the shadow layer. But it just helps you like line all the pieces up, which is great. I'm going to be cutting all of mine mostly out of white paper. Here I was going to do the black. The black I will actually cut out of solid black cardstock because I just find that that's better. So I'll do that for the eyes and the collar. I'm not going to be following the colors on the image you see up in the left here. I'm going to actually be picking my colors out of the pattern paper that I'm using, which you'll again see in a bit. But I'm going to be cutting them all out of white and coloring them individually. I could have cut them out using solid cardstocks, but that takes a lot of time sorting through my scraps and just die cutting each of these in individual colors. But I find it's a lot easier to just cut everything in white and then color them with your alcohol markers. Some people might not like this look. I don't have a problem with it. Sometimes coloring a bunch of like solid areas with your alcohol markers does tend to leave a bit of that paper texture pattern through it. So it's not as solid, but I do find that because I'm, blending different colors in, it gives it a bit more of a quote-unquote realistic look, which is what I was going for. The only ones I colored beforehand were the darker brown for the stem on the pumpkin head and the hands. But even those, like, I could have skipped die cutting those and colored directly on the layering piece, like the solid layering piece. And same with the socks, like you don't necessarily need to use that die either. Like I would probably next time just color those directly on the layering piece as well, like the backing, just because it would be a lot easier, less cutting, and you can see how tiny some of these little die cuts are. Like the nose for the pumpkin, the eyes are fairly small. Like this whole image is just like small. I didn't even bother cutting out the cute little like buck teeth that comes with the image because I was just like, you know what, I can just use a white gel pen and put a couple of dots to give it the same look without having to actually die cut it. And again, like I would do the same probably with the hands, stem, and socks next time around that I use this die. I will just color them directly on that like solid layering base, and then the rest I will color the actual die cuts. So with the pumpkin here, I'm just adding darker color to the top, bottom, and sides, and in between, just to give it some dimension, make it look more like a 3D pumpkin. This is actually like a great way to add more dimension to your die cuts, is to use alcohol markers for coloring. You can definitely use ink if you want ink blend on them. The same, it gives it a bit more of a smoother texture, but it also depends on your ink blending with alcohol markers. For me, I like to like flick the markers and blend them, but like not blend them so that they have a like smooth transition, I guess. Like I like to see those lines of the darker colors, and then it doesn't completely blend out with the next color. Like if it does, I usually go back in and try to add those flicks a bit more, which is what I did here with the shirt or dress or whatever this is. Call it a tunic. I colored the shadow areas like I normally do first, and then I colored the lighter color on top of that, which helps me kind of blend out the shadows a little bit, but it blended out a little bit too much. So I went in and did that step again, and I just got a little bit more definition and a little bit more contrast in the color. And then for the socks, I colored them in like the hot pink from the background and then added these black stripes to it. I did it with a pen originally. I'm going to go over it with a marker again later, just to thicken up those lines a bit, but I was just kind of grabbing what was on hand at the time. And there's actually cute little like, I don't know if they're supposed to be gummy worms or something, but they're in pink and black stripes, and there's green and black stripes, and I think there might be purple ones, or it's just the pink and the green, but I also pulled that element from the print. So it's really good if you're making a card to keep it cohesive and not have a whole bunch of different colors added onto it to pull the colors from the print itself. It also helps you with color combinations and what goes well together. So that I did that for this card. For the collar, I just did it out of the solid black, like the die cut. I was going to originally do the socks in the solid black as well, but I thought it was going to be a little bit too heavy, which is why I went with the hot pink, and it also added a little bit more of that color from the background to the die cut. And I really like the color combination on this. And then the pumpkin head obviously is going to be like this bright orange color from the background as well. And I will be adding the pumpkin on a little bit of foam tape. This is the 1mm thick by I think 1 inch foam tape from scrapbook.com, which I also ordered in this same order, I believe. But because it's going to be propped up a bit, I decided to color the edges in the same orange that I used, just so that it doesn't show in the background if you look at it from the side a little bit. And then I'm just going to go around the edges of the socks here to make it look a little bit cleaner by coloring the edges, which I usually do for die cuts or sometimes sentiment strips where you have a solid colored block and then the white text kind of thing. And I also decided that I was going to start doing glue dots with my stylus tools, just because I find that because I do the same thing with the like controlled snow where I use the dotting tools to kind of like pick up the paint and then stamp it around on the card. I was like, oh, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but like, oh, I can use that same technique with glue. So I'm going to be using those probably from now on as well for like anything smaller. The tips that I have on my glue bottles right now are a little bit thicker, and they put down a little bit too much glue sometimes. So I think it's easier for smaller die cuts just to add that little tiny bit of glue that you need just by using a dotting tool. And I've done it a few times since this video, so it is extremely helpful. So another reason to buy some dotting tools if you don't have any. They're fairly cheap on Amazon. I think they were like maybe 10 bucks for a set of 5 or something, but controlled snow and glue, great applications for that. But anyway, back to the card. So I'm out of card bases right now. I need to cut some this weekend maybe and just like stock up, because right now I'm cutting them as I need them, which is annoying. I like to be able to grab out of my stash and then just start working on my card. So I just decided to make the 2 here. The template I'm using from Jess Crafts, which is template number 9 for her 6x6 paper busting templates, which I print out and keep in a binder here. I haven't printed any in a while, so I'll probably have to go through and just like, I just pick the ones that I would generally use. And sometimes I don't even use these with 6x6 paper. Like they're just good layouts and like paper sketches to use. So sometimes I'll use them with solid color cardstocks or just paper scraps that I have. Like, okay, this is a good layout. I'll use that with the scrap paper because I have enough of it. But this template, you just cut up your 6x6 paper into 2x3 inch rectangles. Two of them will go sideways like this, and then one goes upright in the middle for this particular layout. And I decided that I wanted the pumpkin on the pattern paper, and then I would use the stripe paper in the background for the other two. I could have done it with the pattern paper for all of them, but because this pattern paper is directional, it wouldn't look right. So if you have non-directional double-sided papers, it works a little bit better with this just because you do have to turn two of them on the opposite direction. You could also do this in the landscape where it's like the opposite. So I would have had two patterns and then maybe the stripes going the other way in the middle. But because this die cut is meant to be used vertically, I cut it so that the pattern paper was vertical, the one that I wanted the pumpkin to be featured on. But if I wanted to, I could have turned the paper 90 degrees and cut it in the other direction if I wanted the pattern paper with the candy and stuff to be on the background strips, and then did like the stripes horizontally in the middle instead of vertically in the background, if that makes sense. But anyway, I will probably just make a second card of this and maybe do the pumpkin head in a different set of colors from the pattern papers. And then I'll have two of these, or I might just try doing something different with it. We'll see. But you get two cards out of this 6x6 paper busting template. So I have the pieces for it and I will use them in the future. I'll probably just post a photo on my Instagram sometime in October with it, so you'll be able to see it then. So I'm just going to glue this guy to the card and then we're pretty much done. I'm going to use some stickers that Kate from Kate Crafts gave me, along with a few other things for my birthday, and I'm just going to stick a trick or treat sticker on the inside as a sentiment. I didn't want to add anything to the front because this is already busy enough as it is and already full to me. So yeah, that's pretty much our card for today, guys. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. And if you'd like to participate, just hashtag get creeping on Halloween and tag Inky and Scrappy so that she can see your creations. I'll be back again tomorrow for my August planner page. So until then, thanks guys. Bye.